I'm going to give you a used car review of a 2021 Nissan Rogue SV. I've had this car for a few weeks as a rental. Let's start it up. Rental can mean many things. In this instance, it means that it's got 47,000 miles on it. It came with me with way overinflated tires and all the settings. I don't know who was driving it before, but they were all over the place. I think someone just sat in here and went like this with all the buttons. Anyway, once I got it all sorted after driving it for a couple of days, I think I got a better sense of what was going on. I wish that I got the newer one with the 3-cylinder engine, because that's like sexier and more exciting. This one, not as fuel efficient, but we're gonna go drive it to BJ's, get some discount fuel, and talk about it a little bit on the way there, just basically how it acquits itself, which is actually pretty well. So right now, we're heading out. Short version of the story, you couldn't really ask for a better, boring car to some extent. Sure, it's competing with CR-V, RAV4, etc. But this is definitely your budget option. At least look at used, because these things depreciate a lot more than those other Japanese models. You can just putt around it, no problem. It's an auto, it's in drive. It's gonna get you where you need to go, haul people around, stuff like that. There's plenty of reviews just kind of explaining its everyday use. There's plenty of reviews explaining a little bit more of the technical details and the performance. I want to talk a little bit more about what this might be as a used vehicle, because I think if you're looking to save some money, get something with a significant amount of depreciation, even for only being a 2021 in the crazy car market that we're still kind of living with, this might not be a bad option. There's a lot of folks that worry about reliability and such, and with the CVT that I'm playing with right now, that may be the case. I can't speak for that because it's not my car. I haven't lived with it. I don't know what kind of work's been done on it. But I could just, maybe tell you a little bit about what to expect in terms of buying a used one, what it might feel like. So the short version of that story is pretty good. I know, again, this is not the 3-cylinder that we all like, but if you, or all the reviewers like, I guess I'm a reviewer, if you put it in sport mode, manual mode, even with this 4-cylinder, it's a little outdated at this point. It's not bad. You can kind of force it to stay in those higher revs, power band, when the CVT typically is going to want to push you into a certain range for fuel efficiency. And I would argue that even in sport mode, it's a little bit guilty of that. You can force it to do what you want. A lot of people complain about stepped fake gears in a CVT, and I get that because it just doesn't make sense. But the CVTs aren't usually tuned for sport use, they're tuned for fuel economy. And when you put it in that manual mode, in air quotes, manual mode, you can force it to stay where you want it, which is pretty cool if you ask me. I drove the Super Performance transmission a few times that you can find in there, their WRX, and honestly I like that because it's like, we'll talk about that pump in a second. It's like it wants to be a dual clutch, but it's a little less complicated, and you can put it in the CVT mode, so to speak, and get the kind of smoothness and fuel efficiency that you might like, especially if you're not looking to do anything crazy with it. So same thing here. As far as it handles for what it is, it's pretty good. This road's a little twisty turny. We're plowing a little bit in that turn. I also missed it a little bit late because I was not being as attentive as I should have been talking to you, but you know, you could drop a gear or two, get it more into that power band, and it moves, which is pretty nice. My wife has a CVT CR-V without the manual mode, without some of the same types of tunings that this Rogue has, that the old Rogue didn't, by the way. We had that as a rental car for a while too, and it was sad. but this is actually pretty decent. I can't wait. Actually, just kind of surprised by it. I would love to drive the newer one too with the new CVT and the new 3-cylinder engine. But you know, that's probably the extent of the spirited driving you're going to do in this thing. Some tiny little rip on your way to go get gas or groceries or whatever, and you know, staying within safe legal limits. It's actually kind of fun. As far as the handling and the suspension, that's the one thing that, again, is probably worse off. I'll put it back in normal mode here. Probably worse off because it's a rental car and because it's older. But this thing literally has made me seasick a few times driving it around. I've commuted about 80 miles a day to work, and I've had this again for 2 full work weeks, and I got used to it. But the first few times I drove it, it was seesawing and pitching and yawing all over the place. I really did feel like I was on a boat. It was really unpleasant. Again, the tires were overinflated when I got it, so I got them to the right PSI. It's like 230. Both the 2 front tires are 33 in the front and 30 in the rear. Once you get that, it feels a little more plush, but the suspension still is all over the place. Just hitting the corners a little bit there. It's kind of fun, again, like I mentioned, because of the tuning, but the suspension itself is like kind of soft in spots and kind of hard in spots. It's a little bit all over the place. And again, that could be because of the way it's been handled as a enterprise special here. But it could also be just the way the suspension is set up. I'm not sure exactly. You have to check out some other reviews for that. But if you do drive it long term, you put some miles on it, just be aware that it might not be as comfortable the day you got it. Fuel efficiency, I've kind of averaged about 28 and a half, which is nice. For a 4-cylinder, I hear the 3-cylinder is even more fuel efficient with better performance, so that's kind of cool. Again, this is definitely doable for what it is. And I've drove in eco mode most of the time on the highway, getting to and from work, with sport mode on the back roads. I'm just having an auto right now, so I'm not paying attention to it. But not bad in that regard. Overall, I would say that it's a pretty good ride if you're picking it up used. I know the newer ones are in the low 40s for the top range ones, which kind of puts it in that CRV RAV4 territory. I don't think that's the one you go with in that instance, but if you're going used, you want to save some money, you want something that you could do all the family hauling duties, get decent gas mileage, and have a little decent amount of fun in it, this might not be the bad way to go. So that's pretty much all I have to say about the 2021 Nissan Rogue SV. Again, there doesn't need to be another video about this on the internet, but I just thought I'd put my 2 cents in because I've put in a couple weeks with it and I've actually kind of enjoyed it. So that's pretty much all there is to it now. Other than that, you just see me cruise my way to BJ. It's not super exciting, but hopefully I'll be back again soon with something to review and talk to you about. And thanks for watching, liking, subscribing, etc. Take care. Again, I had mentioned it already. This is Bill with Driven to Distraction, and I'll see you soon. Thanks.